Good evening. It is Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026 at 7 p.m. I will call the city council meeting to order. Clerk Everett, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Huckabee.
Here.
Councilman Johnson.
Here.
Councilman Lesko Hair.
Here.
Councilman Schultz.
Here.
President Jacob.
Here. Thank you. Item 3, Pledge of Allegiance. I invite everyone to stand. Pledge of allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America.
and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 4, consent agenda. The consent agenda outlined below is hereby presented for action by the city council. Items may be removed from the consent agenda on the request of any one council member. Items not removed may be adopted by action without debate. Removed items may be taken up either immediately after the consent agenda or placed later on the agenda at the discretion of the council president.
I move to approve the consent agenda as listed, items 4A through 4C.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, public hearings. Tonight we have none. Item 6, public comment. For matters on the agenda, the city council will receive comments from city residents. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual. Anyone wishing to speak is required to sign up in advance or state the following items for the record when called upon: name, address, and contact information. Note for those following along on Zoom, if you wish to speak, please raise your virtual hand as we don't monitor the chat box, and those on the call must remain muted unless recognized to speak. We don't have anyone in person tonight, so I will make a first call for anyone on Zoom. Second call for anyone following on Zoom. Seeing none, the public comment is closed. Item 7, petitions, requests, and communications. 7A is review and possible action relating to the proclamation to recognize January 23rd, 2026 as Mayor's Monarch Pledge Day in the city of Fort Atkinson. Manager Hausman.
Thank you. So before you tonight is the proclamation for the Mayor's Monarch Pledge. The cities that take this pledge commit to at least 30 action items to help save the monarch butterfly. The city of Fort Atkinson has taken this pledge since 2022 annually. We do have for 2026, we will have monarch and pollinator friendly demonstration gardens at the Hoard Historical Museum, and a new garden is planned at the Dwight Foster Public Library this spring. So we're really excited about that at that garden. This proclamation is not expected to have a financial impact on the city. We do recommend that the City Council approve the proclamation for Monarch Pledge Day to raise awareness about the issues that pollinators face. We did kick this off on January 23rd with a commitment to launching that public communication effort and encouraging residents to plant gardens at their home or in their neighborhoods. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I move to approve the proclamation recognizing January 23rd, 2026 as Mayor's Monarch Pledge Day in the city of Fort Atkinson.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 7B, the Dwight Foster Public Library 2025 Year in Review, Director Lippert.
Hello. All right. Okay, thank you. It's my pleasure to share a numerical review of 2025 at the Dwight Foster Public Library. Let's look at the next slide, please. This is a graphic that we shared with the public in early January that highlights a lot of numbers that we're very proud of that took place at the library in 2025. Let's dig a little bit deeper into where we came up with some of these numbers and some stories behind them. Let's look at the next slide. All right, so first let's start with our number of checkouts. In 2025, we checked out more than 160,000 items. And a number that we really like to calculate is looking at how much we saved our community members by them using materials from the library compared to purchasing them on their own. So we saved community members more than $3 million by them using our library resources. I share a picture of Gary here. I love to talk about Gary. So Gary gave us permission to take his picture because every time that he comes to the library, he looks at how much he has saved that year. Our software automatically calculates how much each individual saves each year. When we asked him permission to take his picture and post it on social media, he said yes. I'm not sure how familiar he is with social media, but he came back the next week wearing his favorite Packers hat and his nicest yellow shirt. He is looking his best for his social media picture. He still thinks, I think he thinks we're going to post a picture of him in the library. Maybe someday, but he's so proud of how much he had saved so far. That was back in the spring. And any of you can look at how much you save by checking out materials from the library each year as well. I also looked up who saved or what the highest amount that an individual saved in 2025 by using the library, and it was $37,000. I don't know who that is. Maybe it's Gary, maybe it isn't. I don't know. Gary would know if it is him. But what a great impact that the library can have on individuals by providing access to resources. I also pulled some numbers on some of our top circulating items in 2025. In adult books, Kristen Hanna's The Women. Kristen Hanna also was book number 3, so she really had a big year with circulating her items at our library. In children's books, the most popular book that we checked out was The Wild Robot, followed by Dogman, and then Bluey, which isn't a surprise to any of us at the library. All very popular requests that we get. And then I looked at some numbers for our Library of Things collections. So as you'll remember, we apply the same library model to things compared to books. So we buy materials and share them with community members. Our puzzles checked out more than 449 times in 2025. And I'm particularly proud of that number because we started our circulating puzzle collection in August of 2025. So really a healthy number of checkouts on our puzzles. We now have the highest number of circulating puzzles in our collection in our whole library system. So we're very proud of that, and we're seeing good numbers from that. We also check out Explore passes. So we purchase passes to area attractions that people can check out for a few days and gain free entry to those places. And our top Explore pass that checked out in 2025 was the Milwaukee Zoo Pass with 131 checkouts. And then our most popular circulating board game was Exploding Kittens, and I think it's got 23 checkouts. Our board games are also popular as well. Looking at our programs, we offered 392 programs in 2025 with more than 8,000 attendees. I looked at which of these programs were the most popular attendance-wise. For adults, we hosted an antiques appraisal event with Mark Moran with 32 attendees. We used a grant to pay for that program. It was really wonderful, and I think all the attendees enjoyed it, and we're planning what they would bring if we ever hosted the event again. Looking at our kids programs, our 4K Art Gala was our most well-attended event with 220 really cute young 4-year-old artists and their families. Then Snake Discovery came in second with 215 attendees, followed by the Princess Party with 150 attendees. Looking at our library cards, we're constantly making new library cards for community members. In 2025, we made more than 900 new library cards. And this is a picture here of Sandy and Tim holding all of the new cards we made for School District of Fort Atkinson students. We have a wonderful partnership where during the school registration process, families can opt in to get a library card made and mailed to their house. So this year we made more than 200, maybe 250-ish new library cards for students. Looking at our library visits, we had 84,000 library visits in 2025. I looked at which day had the highest number of visitors, and it was Thursday, October 30th. And I tried to figure out why that day, because it beat all the other days by quite a large number. On that day, we had one library story time, so that's not the highest number of programs. We had 13 meeting room bookings, which is a healthy number, but not record setting. We had 4 reference interactions, which is really kind of a low number, actually. 516 checkouts, which is a healthy number, but again, not record setting. But I think the reason why that day had so many people was because it was a no school day. So we've really seen an uptick of families visiting the library, especially on that fall break and spring break. We're really a hopping location. So that's my best guess. Obviously, I don't remember October 30th exactly, but looking at the data, that's my guess as to why that day.
It wasn't when I led the story time. Let's just.
Next time. And then finally, let's look at our digital checkouts. We had 42,000 digital checkouts. Most of the other numbers I've shared with you haven't been record setting numbers, but this is a record setting number for us, as it has been every year that we've had been offering digital materials. So as you know, we offer access to digital materials through an app called Libby. There's digital audiobooks, ebooks, as well as some digital magazines as well. We also, for a while, had another vendor as well. Now we're just offering it through Libby. I thought it was fascinating to track our digital circulation for the past 10 years. So I made a little graph. The top line looks at our total digital circulation for our library. The blue line looks at ebook circulation, and the green line looks at digital audiobook circulation. So I think it's fascinating that in 2021, moving into 2022, we switched, which was more popular as a format. So now digital audiobooks are checked out more from our library than ebooks, whereas ebooks are kind of staying pretty steady, and really they have for the past 10 years. There's been some fluctuation, but they've been pretty steady. So I find that statistic fascinating. And if you talk to library staff, we've got theories as to why this is, but fun to look at. So those were the numbers I wanted to highlight about 2025 at the library, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I love this presentation.
Thank you.
Loved it last year too.
The snake event, you're going to have that again this year?
We'll see. Miss Daphne's in charge of our programs for kids. So I know she's working on our summer reading programs right now. I don't think I've heard about this one. We try not to do the exact same things every year, but we'll have to see.
A little selfish, it's a personal reason. My daughter loves snakes. I have
okay.
no idea why, but she does.
Neat. There's other kids who like coming to snake events too.
Is that your least favorite snake event?
I have other favorites. Yeah. Look closely at the picture. There are no animals in the picture that I showed you. But lots of happy kids, which is what we want.
And your audiobooks, are they, check them out, they're free?
Yes. So Libby is free for library users. There are wait times. There can be wait times for materials, just like there are with library books, but free for people to use. Yeah, I use Libby all the time.
And you simply need to load up an app and find out how to get on?
Yeah. And if anyone is interested in getting set up with Libby, I think the hardest part is just opening your account and picking the right library. We get hooked up with people get confused with Fort Atkinson, Iowa, I think, and there's other places where we can get lost. But library staff would be happy to help anyone get set
Well,
up with Libby.
I'll be down to visit you.
Excellent. Over Christmas, we were at a diner, and I was talking to a trucker at the diner about how he uses Libby for listening to audiobooks while he drives his truck, which was fun to hear, and how we had that connection.
I'm always impressed by the library usage numbers and the just volume of programming that we offer. And so if our library is an indicator of public libraries in general, they are alive and well.
Mhm. I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 8, resolutions and ordinances. Tonight we have none. Item 9, reports of officers, boards, and committees. 9A is city manager's report. Manager Hausman.
Thank you. In my last report, I mentioned the city's confirmed bond rating of AA minus and the sale of the 6.9 million in refunding notes and bonds was to take place the next day after the last council meeting. The parameter in the resolution was set at 5%, and the city's financial advisors presented information to the council and the public, assuming a 4.5% rate. So I'm very pleased to announce that the sale went through on January 21st with an interest rate of 3.65%. The debt savings with the lower interest rate is $703,619 over the life of the debt, which represents a real savings to our property taxpayers over the next 20 years. Last week, records clerk Mindy Fry was recognized by the Jefferson County Chiefs and Sheriff Association as the support person of the year. This is awarded to a support person who has performed an exemplary deed or activity, has done outstanding work on a project, or continually renders noteworthy work. And Mindy was nominated because of her outstanding work in helping the police department upgrade processes, reduce waste, and align with best practices in the areas of open records and dispatch. In addition to all of that, Mindy has served as the Chiefs and Sheriff Association Secretary for the past 5 years. So I want to congratulate Mindy Fry on that well-deserved award. On Monday, I attended Representative Fitzgerald's office hour at the library. It was well attended, and while there was not quite enough time for me to ask questions about possible legislation impacting cities and villages, I was able to answer a couple local government questions from some of the attendees. And I always appreciate Representative Fitzgerald's communication and engagement in her district here. The city's auditors are at the municipal building this week for their field work associated with the 2025 audit. We will not see the results of their work for another couple months, but Michelle and her team are very busy working hard to support them and provide all that information that they need. Speaking of Michelle and her team, as of January 31st, the city has collected just over $20,032,000 in property tax payments, or about 70% of the total. Per usual, we turn around those settlement payments to the other 3 taxing jurisdictions as soon as practicable. The remaining payments are due to Jefferson County Treasurer by July 31st. And just a final reminder, won't be the final reminder, but my final item is just a reminder to license dogs and cats, the deadline of April 1st.
Thank you. Item 10, unfinished business. Tonight we have none. Item 11, new business. 11A is review and possible action relating to the master service agreement with Rupert Milky Incorporated. Director Naven.
Thank you. Good evening, and thanks for letting me stay in my chair.
You're welcome.
So the city has worked with several different engineering firms over the past several years, including MSA, Professional Services, KL Engineering, Grafe, SEH, Baxter Woodman, Donahue and Associates, and Rooker and Milky for various projects. While the city generally uses the request for proposal process for most professional services relating to engineering and specific project management, there are certain efficiencies that can be obtained by designating one firm to serve as the city's interim city engineer. In 2022, the city entered into a master service agreement with Rooker and Milky for municipal engineering services due to the city's inability to attract someone to the assistant city engineer position. Since that time, the city has upgraded the assistant city engineer position to the city engineer position and separated it from the director of public works position. The city engineer position remains vacant, and the city has a well-established relationship with Andy Bird of Rooker and Milky. Staff wishes to continue this relationship through the attached master services agreement for interim city engineer services. The length of this contract is 1 year, which will give staff an opportunity to review these contracted services for a full year and strategize on how to fill the position or continue to use consulting services. Now that I have been on board for 9 months and established in the role, I'm able to take on the grant management of new and existing grants as well as project management of larger projects such as Banker Road redesign, South Main Street ped path, and associated utility work, as well as the Lorman site and future large-scale project management. As can be seen in the R&M organizational structure attached, they have restructured and given the city's contracted engineer, Andy Burt, a team of his own to lead and assist with projects as he and the city see fit. This will help keep city costs under control as Andy, as a team leader, will not need to be the one always doing the project work for the city, and he'll be able to assign it to staff on his team who are charged back to the city at a lower rate, while also being able to ensure the work quality meets the city's expectations as he'll have the final review over it. Funds for these task orders and general engineering support will be billed to the appropriate city funds and accounts. Billing rates for various levels of professional services are included in the attached agreement. The agreement allows staff to publicly bid, award work to other firms as the city may deem appropriate. Further, the agreement does not require a minimum amount of work within any period of time. Each task order will range in cost depending on scope, deliverables, and schedule. So staff recommends city council approve the master service agreement with Rupert and Milky for 1 year ending a 1 year term ending December 31st of 2026 and authorize the city manager to execute said agreement. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Seems that there's a lot of communities that use this sort of setup or system.
Yeah, since I've come on board with the city, I weekly just try to check the job boards to see what's out there for the city engineer position. And there's a lot of communities trying to fill it without success. A couple of the communities where I have contacts, I've asked for, hey, how many applicants did you get? Did you hire anybody, right? So those that do get applicants aren't the applicants they're looking for, and several just continue to go with the interim role of a firm, if you will. But so now I am looking forward for the opportunity to have a full year to assess the city's operations, where we see this position fit. If it continues to make sense, do we fly it again, see what we get, and then if again, go a different route, whatever that might look like. I'm looking forward to that opportunity to get through a full year under my belt.
I do like that it's structured, that it's just when we need it for how much we need. I think that gives a lot of information and cost cutting, obviously.
Absolutely.
So I do like the contractor structure.
Aye.
Yeah.
I will also just note when we have specific task orders, those do come back to the city council for approval if they're over that designated dollar amount. So the council does get to see additional task orders that are requested of Rupert and Milky.
Do we have a rough idea as to how much, like this last year, we spent on with them? Or
Yeah,
the
total expenses to R&M was around 550,000. Now over 50%. Over
Adding-
50% of that was associated with the road projects, and so they had the design of the road work as well as construction administration. So that was over 50% of that cost. Another 20, over 25, 30% of that was task orders that had come back to council for approval prior to that work. And then the remaining was, I'll just call it staff support, which I expect that number to continue to drop. In my first year here, Andy really picked up a lot of slack and helped cover areas that he was up to speed on that I was not yet, and kind of helped fill some of those gaps. So that number I expect to continue to dwindle.
And I'll also note all of the design work contracts, as well as the construction management, construction oversight contracts. Those also all come to the city council for approval individually. So that sounds like a really scary number, but it's really project based. A lot of design projects. We had our water main work design. We had our water 2025 water main actual construction projects, plus Banker Road and South Main Street and various items. So it was a lot of projects.
A lot of work that got done. I think it's important to remember that if the city hires a city engineer, that's one individual that we will rely on for a lot of work, and there's a lot of software and equipment that comes along with that. So when you go with an interim group like this that's contracted out, they have specialists in everything, right? So if I reach out to Andy and he says we've got somebody for that, that's this whatever the specialty is, and yeah, we have the software and the programming to do that. Those are all pieces that play into that come to benefit us that we don't always see up front.
Perfect.
Would it be fair to say that a good chunk of that project-based work are things that we would have probably engaged an outside firm to assist with?
Yes, absolutely.
And then longer term, do we still hope to someday fill the city engineer position?
Yeah, to be determined. Like I said, I'd like to get through another construction season here. Have a little bit better grasp on the role and all the players, and then reevaluate again this fall through the budget process to see where things are at and if where we want to go with it.
And I guess in the meantime, it is nice to have an option like this that has seemingly worked well for the city in the past year.
Yeah, it has worked well. I've been lucky enough to have relationships with Andy Burt in previous roles as well and gotten to know him, getting to know each other's work styles and expectations. And there's just been a really great relationship built there, and he's been a great advocate for the city as well.
And it is interesting, the restructuring of their team, which would allow somebody who could handle more, I don't want to call it basic, but work that may not require as high a level of knowledge as Andy has to take on some of that project work at a lower cost.
Correct, yes. And give him more oversight of it. Some of the struggles I saw this year was there might be 3 or 4 Rupert individuals in town for a project for the street work, but none of them report up to anybody that's in town, right? So with their new structure, there's a little bit more accountability, in my opinion, that I can go to Andy and say, hey, your XYZ is, I need this from them, or they're not doing this, and have a little bit better control over that.
I move to authorize the city manager to execute the master services agreement with Rupert and Milky Incorporated for a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
You.
Item 11B is review and possible action relating to the replacement of controls and telemetry at the main control building, the Water Street, Sherman Avenue, and Memorial lift stations. Wastewater Superintendent Sweeney.
Good evening. Okay. The Sherman Avenue, Water Street, and Memorial lift stations, along with the main control building, are all due for essential upgrades to telemetry and controls. The last major improvement to any of these systems was completed in 2001 through 2004. Although the current equipment has been reliable for more than 20 years, the technology is now outdated and replacement components have become difficult or impossible to obtain. To ensure continued reliability and uninterrupted operation, the existing controls and telemetry, they just must be modernized. Because much of the equipment is becoming obsolete, and at the same time, because it's becoming obsolete, it's necessary to complete these projects all in one phase. We can't phase it into different little phases. This will ensure that all the components will continue to function as one integrated system. The 2026 budget does include $350,000 to replace the controls and telemetry systems at the 3 lift stations and at the main control building. The project includes the installation of new telemetry equipment that allows each lift station to report operating status and alarm conditions back to the main control building. And it also allows us to have constant, continuous data collection at the main plant as well for all the lift stations. The new control systems will be installed at all 3 lift stations and at the main control building. This will also include new cabinets at the Sherman and Water Street lift stations. We are also getting new variable frequency drives and generator connection points at these lift stations. As you recall, we had pumps and generators that went through the 2025 capital improvement program last year. So all that will come together with these new controls and telemetry. Electronics is our sole supplier for the controls and telemetry for the utility. The utility received a quote of $322,465 from Electronics covering the controls, telemetry, partial installation, programming, testing, and all the drawings. In addition to this, we do have to get some pricing for the removal and the installation of the old control panels and some assistance with getting the pumps in and getting the antennas back installed at both Sherman and Water lift stations. Eltronics does frequently partner with Electric Designs, and due to the sensitive nature in lift station work, we need it efficiently done and quickly done. And so we obtained a proposal from Electric Designs, and that came out at $5,300. $350,000 was included in the 2026 capital improvements plan budget for this project. The wastewater utility pays for most of its capital expenses through the annual operating funds when possible. This project was also identified in the approved 2026 wastewater utility operating budget, and that can be found on page 115 of the overall budget document. So staff recommends that the city council approve the purchase of the upgraded controls and the telemetry systems from Eltronics not to exceed $327,765, and that will include the work that's provided by Electric Designs as well. Questions?
What happens if the controls and telemetry are offline or fail for any reason?
So if, for instance, the controls would fail, then it's possible the pumps won't work. And then if the pumps don't work, then we're backing up basements. And then the telemetry is our way to see what's going on at the lift stations at all times. So that comes back to the plant. And then if something's wrong, it'll sound an alarm. When we're there, we'll see it. If not, it'll call us out at night.
Is there any reason to believe that new equipment has less of a shelf life than the current?
I always want
Equipment?
to say no on that, but you know how technology is.
Sure. But
I would think
track record has been
pretty good.
So we should be able to get hopefully the same amount of time.
I would think so. And it always comes with little fixes in between.
Mhm.
We don't have to do so much to our memorial lift station because about 5 years ago, we updated some of that stuff. And it's in the life cycle that will still talk with all the new stuff. So, it's good.
And it's under budget,
And it's under budget.
which is wonderful.
Thank goodness.
I move to approve the purchase of upgraded controls and telemetry systems from Altenex for a cost not to exceed $327,765, including the work provided by Electric Designs.
Second.
Motion and second there. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Moving on, item 11C, review and possible action relating to an extraterritorial certified survey map for the property located at W6347 Briar Lane in the town of Koshkonong. Director Drager.
Good evening. As you said, this is a review for CSM. This is slightly different from ones we've seen in the recent past here. This one is combining two existing parcels instead of creating a new buildable parcel. Did not speak with the owner as far as reasons for that, but other than that, you can see in the staff report, it is meeting the majority of the city's land division and development ordinance, except for the few items, minor map adjustments that should be adjusted there. Showing easements, and then one last one there where staff is recommending waiving the requirement for the setback line since there is no proposed development on the site. That is a requirement, but staff does not feel that it's needed at this for this approval. Welcome any questions, but the staff and planning commission, excuse me, I should say this, planning commission did recommend to the city council approve this certified survey map with the items listed in the memo on the January 27th meeting. And staff and planning commission recommend the city council approve the extraterritorial certified survey map for the property located at W6347 Briar Lane with the conditions noted in the memo.
I move to approve an extraterritorial certified survey map for the property located at W6347 Briar Lane in the town of Koshkonong, subject to the conditions in the staff report.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11D, review and possible action relating to an extraterritorial certified survey map for the property located at N1873 US Highway 12 in the town of Koshkonong as well. Director Drager.
All right, thank you. There's a few more detail to this one, given its proximity to the city. This parcel, the proposed.
Thought we were back in February of last year with the tornadoes.
Threw me off my steps here. This one is located along Whitewater Avenue, um, uh, and is surrounded by city property or city property within city limits around it. It is, as I should have mentioned in the one previous to this, it's in that 1 mile review area where Plan Commission and City Council is required to approve the CSM. It's currently zoned R2 and is not proposed to change. This parcel here, the parent parcel is approximate 7 acre parcel, where there is an existing residential building on there, and the owners are proposing to separate out a smaller parcel from that and sell it to the current occupants of that rental home, which would leave around a 5.5 acre developable parcel that would have access from Lena Lane. According to the comprehensive plan, that would be more of a residential plan development in there. So we would look forward to seeing that hopefully come sometime in the future for future development. One other thing here, if you see, you're looking into the financial analysis with this, when the Highland subdivision was put in, there was water and sewer that was ran through Whitewater Avenue, and with that comes a special deferred assessment with the water and sewer, with the access to that. That would not be due at this time, only upon the annexation of that property. But I did want to note in here that that new parcel would be required to pay that in its entirety. As you can see with the numbers there, it is a pretty large amount. So I just wanted to make sure that all parties were aware of that amount.
And just for clarification, Jed, Lot 1 is responsible for that entire special assessment because Lot 1 benefits from it. Lot 2 is the piece that's potentially developable in the future within the city limits with access off of Lena Lane, and it does not have that encumbrance.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. So lot 1 would have the entire frontage to the Whitewater Avenue piece susceptible to the entirety of that deferred special assessment. And with that, staff, Plan Commission, once again, on the January 27th meeting, did recommend City Council approval, and staff and the Plan Commission recommend the City Council approve the extraterritorial certified survey map for the property located at N1873, with the corrections noted in the Plan Commission memo, which are minor map corrections, as stated.
Just one question I have in the payable portions. The section, I understand the part to the city, but the part to J&J Enterprises, how is that, or?
From record, they paid for that portion of the improvements, so they are
The water
water
part.
portion of that.
Okay.
So repayment of that comes with the deferred assessments.
Okay.
Just for the record, that is not how we would operate now and in the future.
I would say it was a little surprising when I was going through those things, you know.
How long ago was that water put in that?
I'd have to think back to the date, early 2000s in there, I think, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that would not be, it's not the ideal situation.
It's a big chunk of change that they'll have to pay regardless.
Correct, yeah. And that's why I wanted to make sure it was brought to light for.
Hopefully, like you said, though, this other parcel will possibly be annexed into the city in some future point and be a nice developable portion.
It would be, yes. Yeah, and I think it could be a wide variety of different types of residential development that could go in there.
I did reach out to the property owner and just to touch base and see if there was a plan for that lot number 2. And he indicated that he is not interested in having neighbors because he lives to the north of this right now. But due to the access on Lena Lane and the fact that Lena Lane is not finished, I would say the city does have a pretty good standing relating to that being undevelopable in the town of Koshkonong.
Correct.
I move to approve the extraterritorial certified survey map for the property located at N 1873 US Highway 12 in the town of Koshkonong, subject to the conditions in the staff report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 12, miscellaneous. Tonight we have none. Item 13, public comment for matters not on the agenda. The city council will receive comments from city residents. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to sign up before or state the following for the record when called upon: name, address, and contact information. No action will be taken on any public comment. Those of you on Zoom, please raise your virtual hand as the chat box is not monitored, and you must remain muted unless recognized. Again, we have nobody in person tonight, so anyone on Zoom, this will be a first call. Second call for anyone on Zoom. Seeing none, public comment will be closed and move on to claims, appropriations, and contract payments. 14A, review and possible action relating to the verified claims presented by the Director of Finance and authorized payment.
I move to approve the verified claims as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. This is a roll call vote.
Councilman Huckabee,
Aye.
Councilman Johnson,
Aye.
Councilman Lesko Hair,
Aye.
Councilman Schultz,
Aye.
President Jekyll.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 15, adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.